Hello, welcome to Glenmaroch Lane. It's another episode in the series of Building There, and this time we're focusing on the control systems.
Right, so as Mark has introduced and shown you what we're going to do, we actually start by using a Z21. There's actually two versions. There's a white version and a black version. I'm actually using the white version, which is slightly cheaper and not as complicated needed as what we'd have with the black one. As you can see, we've got the app for the Z21 in the top right hand corner. So what I'll do is I'm going to click onto that. As you can see, we've got the 6 options plus the square middle, which is obviously the play screen. So if I go into vehicles, you can now see we come up with the data for each locomotive. So for argument's sake, we go to 47. Now, as you can see, it's got its loco address, which is 15, vehicle type, which obviously we're not, which is loco. Wagon access was obviously highlighted as loco. The name of the loco, which is obviously 47593, Galloway Princess. And then if you just scroll up, you've got like the mile per hour, commodities or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Obviously the picture of the loco, so you know which loco you're actually going to select when you start to operate. Also the decoder, which is DCC. Regulation step, which obviously is 1 to 8, but you can add that of 28 or 14. And I think that's basically all we need in that one.
And in the function section, we've got basically the way this works is this is all your sounds for a sound activated loco. If you're only running DCC only and it's not sound chipped, then the FXX section doesn't matter. But in this particular case, all our locos are sound chipped. So if you look on the left hand side, you have the list of stuff. You've got C1, C2 and C3. C2 is a second bank and C3, should you need it, is a third bank. Focusing on C1. And we're on directional lights, so you see directional lights. So you can type in and put in what you need to put in there. So like that. And then you've got button type. So you've got 3 different types. You've switch, push button, and time. So switch basically toggles it on and off. So you would use that for, say, your engine. So you would toggle the engine on. You want it to stay on full stop until you tell it to come off. Push button would be a horn. Say your horn, that would be a push button one. So you'd press it. Press it once, it would activate the horn and then be quiet. And time is if you want something to run for a specific length of time. So you might want to use it for, say, the compressor or the Spirex valve, where you want it to stay on for, say, 30 seconds and then shut down. You can then associate a symbol with it, and then importantly, put a function number on it. You can indicate the function number, test function, and delete it if you need to. So that's the FXX side of it.
Right, so as you can see, we're now going to go into control station.
Right, in the control station, this is where you build your layout. Now, basically, you go into your menu options, you pick what you need to build your layout, and you just basically drag and drop. So, well, it's not drag and drop, it's click and drop. But all the stuff you're likely to need to actually build the control station layout is in this section. So you've got your curves, you've got your straight tracks, your bridges, your crossings, your turnouts. I like to call them points. I don't know why they're called turnouts, probably because it's European. But you've got your lights, switches, signals. Again, there's a lot of European signals in on this, but you can get away with putting British stuff in. Routes. Now, we're going to cover routes in a little bit more detail shortly. And response modules, which is your block detection. We'll cover that again shortly. And then decoration, which just helps you to identify what's what, your notes and your platform numbers. So basically, once you pick your options, they will pop up at the top in the right-hand corner, and then you just basically click on what you want, and basically it will just appear. And then click on it again, and I don't want to delete the page. I want to delete the item. There we go. So once you've created your layout, you're not doing a direct representation of the trackwork. What you want to try and do is simplify it, make it as easy to understand as possible, and it needs to just be a representation. Basically, imagine that you're creating this board for a signaller. So it'd be in the signal box at the back. Now, on the left-hand side here, you can see a lot of these route boxes. Now, we've basically created a load of routes to make changing the points and getting from A to B much more simpler. We've labelled each destination on the system with its own label. So we're starting with L1, L2, L3. That's Glenmaroch Lane 1, 2, and 3. HS is head shunt. F1 is the fuel depot. The F1, F2, F3 is fuel depot. S1 to 3, that's the shed. H1 and 2 is Glen Hops, and Y1 and 2 is the yard for Glen Hops Distillery. So what you do is you basically set your routes up. So if I wanted to go from Glenmaroch Lane Platform 1 to Hops Platform 1, I'll be looking Lane to Hops, L1 to H1. Press that, and obviously in the control system it would then set up. In order to set it up, you have to put a list of things in that have to be correct in order for that to work. So you have every point that is required and which way it needs to be thrown in order to get there. Now, you can add signals into that as well, but we've not put the signalling system on this yet. The signalling system should be being run automatic with a module that will be going into more detail in a future update. So there's no signalling on this system as yet. It will be there soon though. So basically that's building the layout. That's how you actually design it.
So as you can see in this third option, you've got CV program. Now we won't go into this too much because basically this is basically each separate loco, you can control its functionality. That's a big word for me, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Its functionality. So basically you can, obviously like it says there, read driving behaviour. So basically you can alter its speed, it's the way it is, its sound, and blah, blah, blah. So we're not going to go into that because it's obviously, it'll take a while to explain.
That's an episode in itself.
An episode in itself, yeah. So we'll leave that one for now.
And then we've got driver cabs. Now this is specific to Feischmann, Rocco. This system will allow you to basically ride around and watch what you're doing and drive through the cab. So obviously we don't have any of them on this particular layout, so we're not going to be dealing with that. Now we also have the layout section.
So yeah, as you can see, we've got Glenmaroch Lane here now. We can actually have multiple layouts in this, and obviously you just told if there was more names of layouts on this screen, as you can see here, then you could actually select a particular layout, select it, save it, and then you can then operate it as another type layout if you've got another layout somewhere else rather than the one we're on in a minute. So as you can see though, we've got the Glenmaroch Lane 3, so that's what we're using and that's what we're going to stick with.
Yeah, and then we've got settings, which is just your basic setup of the system. To be fair, there's not really a great deal you change in this unless you want to put your speed control in the left position, or you want to direction invert your driving, or yeah, basically it's very self-explanatory. Your updaters are all in here, all the stuff that you need to keep the app up and running and going. So that's basically it. When it comes to all the outer bits, now the bit that actually matters is driving. So this is basically the setup that we get. On the right hand side we've got the locos and the control system for that. On the left hand side we have the track plan. Now you can connect multiple tablets to the layout and multiple people can drive at the same time. You could have a touchscreen tablet on the wall that just has the track plan on, and then multiple tablets for driving only. If you turn this from landscape to portrait, it will switch to just one and not the other. So you'll get a full screen of driving then, so you get more control and more accuracy over your driving. That's pretty much basically how it works. Now, when you click on a point, it will change that point. And the way that works is that when you touch that point there, the tablet sends a Wi-Fi signal to the Wi-Fi receiver box. The Wi-Fi receiver box then talks to the control system, the actual white Z21. The white Z21 then sends a pulse out in the DCC line, which basically goes to every single piece of equipment on the track. That pulse begins with a specific code, which is the number allocated to that device. Now, in this particular case, we're switching that point there. Now, if we go into Control Station and actually look at that point in detail in the settings, it's address 109. So when that pulse goes out, it goes out, and the first thing in that pulse is 109, and then that point knows it's being spoken to, and this control system is telling that point to change. So that's what happens, the point changes. The equipment that's being used to do that underneath, it's the ADS4SX. So the pulse goes to the ADS4SX, the ADS4SX reads that, it says, 105 needs changing. So it then uses some power stored up in its capacitor, sends a pulse of power to the solenoid flicks, the point changes. That's basically how this system works. Now, it's the same with the signaling, and it's the same with local control. The way that DCC works, the modern systems and the way that DCC operates now is so far removed from the cable and the twiddly knob and the DC. It is so far removed. In the bottom left-hand corner, you've got two words written. There's track plan and lighting. Now, track plan's in orange, lighting's not. There are two pages to this control system. The first page controls the actual layout, the track, the points, and everything else. The second page, as the word suggests, is basically the lighting. Every single group of lights on the layout has its own switch, so they can all be turned on and off individually. That allows us to do specific filming. If we wanted to kill all the lights on the entire layout and just leave the platform lights on, we could, just film the platform and not have to bother with all the rest of the lights. It gives us a little bit of ability to change things. Plus, when we switch from daytime to nighttime, it allows us to put the lights on slowly as they would come on in real life. Each one of these buttons along the bottom, where it says all on, all off, these are route buttons, very similar to the same button that's used on the track plan that controls the routes. It does the same system for the lighting. So when you press all on and all off on these, it would basically go set route, and as you can see, switches all the lights off. You press all on, they all come on, and as you can see, they are staged. They come on at a specific speed and in a specific order, which is controlled by the way that you program the route. Again, it helps to add some atmosphere. So basically, when you switch the lights on in the yard, everything doesn't come on at once. You've got, say, the fueling point will light up, then the yard lights come on, then the other fueling point lights up, then the access road lights up. And there's delays in between each one. It's all pre-programmed and easy to set up. Underneath, we have the masters. Now, each section, you have three different sections. You have Zone 1, which is the distillery, Zone 2, which is the yard, and Zone 3, which is Glenmaroch Station. Underneath, you have the masters. These are all on and all off. So you've got slow and fast. So if you press the all on fast, everything comes on really quickly. Obviously, if you press it on the slow, each one will come on timed individually, and it takes about 30 seconds to switch every light on the layout on. That's something we've programmed in, and you can change that, obviously, to your own preferences. But this gives us full control of the lighting system on the layout. Right, so when we switch a light on and off on here, it does the same thing again. The computer program, the program that's built into the tablet, sends a signal via Wi-Fi to the receiver unit, which is the modem, which then sends a signal to the Z21. The Z21 then sends a pulse out into the DCC main line, and that pulse is received by this unit here. Again, each one of these channels here, 1 to 16, has its own personal address. So that pulse comes out with the personal address first, so that the unit knows it's being spoken to. And this will then switch, depending on how you have this set up, will then switch the switch and turn the light on. So when you press that button there, it takes split seconds for all that to happen. And my big go-go gadget finger is not doing it because I'm missing. There we go. So it presses the light comes on, and that switch unit over there goes, oh, we need the light on, and it puts the light on. So that's basically how it works.
So now that we've explained all that to you, I'm actually going to control the system now and show you exactly how we actually run a train. So I'm now going to press onto the engine, which will now fire the loco up. Once this loco is fully started up, I will then move it from its location to where I want to take it to next, which I shall show you in 1 second when the loco is finished starting up. So while I'm waiting for the loco to start up, as you can see, I've got the loco, which is this one. I now need to change the point for this one here, which I'm going to do on the screen, because I need it to go up to the head shunt, and then from the head shunt onto towards the main line. So I'm going to show you how I do that here. So basically, touch that, because now you can see the point is switched. And now I'm going to actually drive the loco, so the arrow's pointing to the left, which is what direction I want it to go in.
And as you can see, it's now giving you a green line, which tells you that that line is now the path. You've got the path. Before, if you notice, when this hasn't been switched, it breaks that line. So the current path is taking you up here, which will be onto where the observation coach is. So as soon as you make a change, it automatically shows you that you've now got a path, which is going to be head shunt 1 to head shunt, sorry, to F3. So you could have done that automatically by going through the list and finding head shunt to fuel, which is there. And you can see that one's lit there. So that's the path that you've currently got. So now Andy's going to control the actual vehicle.
So this is how we do it. So you can do it two ways. You can either scroll up, or what I generally do is I generally just touch it to where I want it to go. So I'm going to just touch it to there, and you'll now see the loco start to move.
Hopefully in the right direction.
I already checked this.
Did you check?
Yes.
Now in the CV settings, you can change how quickly the loco speeds up and how quickly it slows down. Its maximum speed. There's a lot you can do in the CV settings. When it gets where it needs to go, you press stop, and you will see that it will automatically make the brake sounds. It will slow down, do everything it needs to do.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up from the head shunt, and I want it to go up to the main line, and then we're going to go into L3.
Yeah, use the route direction.
So that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go head shunt to L1. Sorry, to H1. So press that. You can see all the points go into place. And as you can see, the route is now set to go to there, which we're not going to go to H1. We're going to go to just beyond this point here. So I'm going to control the loco. I'm going to switch direction. As you can see now, it's lit orange. And again, I'm going to do what I said before. Touch that, and then the loco. And you can actually have a horn. And then away we go. I'm just about to stop the loco just beyond the point. And there we have it. So now I'm going to change the point, because now I want to get into L3. So from that, I need to set from H1 to L3. So I'm going to press that, and you can hear it's all changing. And if I go to show you the route, you can see now that on the main line, which is about here, we're actually going to come along here and along to L3. So change direction of the loco. Again, do what I said before. Press the horn, and away we go. Now I'm going to stop the loco like that. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed all that. Obviously it gives you a bit of more of an insight of how we operate the system, how it's all come together. So please do us a massive favour and like and subscribe. And also any comments that you have, in case you have any difficulties in understanding how the system works, what the Z21 actually does, we can try and give you some advice that we actually know, and now we've got it together. But yeah, all I'm going to say to you now is basically just take care, everyone. Thanks again for watching, and keep watching future videos which will be coming very soon. Take care and bye for now.